Yes, it's good.
Okay, nice. Good to know. Give me a sec. All right, good warm sunny day here. Feel really good. Weather is really good. All right. Can I see some of you if you want to show your face on Sunday? Hema is there. Thanks, Hema.
Hi, Shriram.
It always feels good to meet some people. Rather looking the black screen with your name. In office, I was getting bored seeing people only with the name. Put a face for the name always gives a happiness. Okay, first, thanks a lot for that. Okay, so the plan here is on Sundays we meet as a Q&A session. Q&A session meant for talking primarily about the questions or exams what we took over a week, Monday to Friday. Every Saturday we have a question answer happening for PMP and Agile. So somebody who took that exam will have obviously some questions. Hey, I took this paper, but I feel this answer A could be right, but why C is right? Kind of discussion. On top of that, something on the subject also we can discuss. Anything which you feel, hey, I read it, it is interesting, can we converse about it? So that's the intention of this program. Once again, welcome you all. I'm expecting a few more people will join as the time moves on. Also, I have some people watching from YouTube or LinkedIn. Thanks a lot for everyone here. First, we'll jump into the exam people. As we do every time, we first listen to the people who go to the exam. For the people who are getting to exam, do we have anyone here who go to exam in another a week or 2 weeks? Exam people? 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now?
Yeah, 4 weeks from now, 21st, I'm planning to give.
Okay. You booked your date?
No, I've not booked yet.
Okay. What is your stage right now on the preparation part?
Yeah, I've done 50% of Rita study. Agile is fully completed. And
Nice.
Yeah, I've given last week one mock. So I got 45%. But then at least I could make out like how to sit for 4 hours and all, because it was so terrible for me to sit for 4 hours. I completed the exam within 3 hours, 15 minutes. And it was like, okay, just ban karo abhi isko. It was so.
Is it like it is like a punishment, right? Sitting 4 hours in a place. Huh? See, we are used with a habit every 20 minutes or 15 minutes, we have to see our mobile. Whether somebody send us message or not, we have to see something. Every 2 hours, you have to go to refrigerator, fix something and eat something. Okay. You have to have a coffee. So we are used to this nature for a long time. Suddenly somebody asks you and sit you for 4 hours. It's really tough.
No,
really
but
tough.
all the 4 hours solving all these questions was really terrible for me. Basically,
Painful.
Maybe if I would have done more study, then it would have been more easy.
No. Management is not easy. See, when I started managing team, being a leadership for maybe 10 years, 15 years back, I thought maybe when you get more experience, management will look normal. But it's almost 15 years more than that now. Even today, if you go to management meeting room, every day something will come that will make you to not sleep well that night because some question asked by somebody in the team or somebody blocked you in the room troubles you, which means it is not because a number of years you sit doesn't mean you become a great guy. The same way, even you read the Rita book 4 times, when you answer a question, that is a scenario, a situation. Book is saying what is scope management. When a requirement comes in, document it. If it is agile, put in the backlog. That's what it will tell. But when a question is asked, you have to think yourself on that spot and wear the hat called PMI and you have to answer, which is challenging, right? You cannot do that. If they ask in Tuckman ladder, what will happen when the team is in this stage? Yeah, that you can answer. Because you read in Tuckman ladder 1, 2, 3, 4. So you will answer it. But when there is a situation, what you said is right, you will feel that the body heat and mind heat happening there. Yeah. But question to you, Hema, you took break after the first 60 questions?
No, actually, I am new to this, so I was not able to gaze out where is the button to click on a break. So I asked Rahul, then he replied late. So I came to know like after 90 minutes, we have to take a break directly, we can take it. So that
So
I
which
couldn't
means,
understand.
yeah, in the first page, there is some information before you start the exam, which means we didn't read. It is something like in software installation, it will ask you, do you agree? No one reads it, just go to the bottom, agree.
But it was
Say,
a good exercise. In fact, I could say that like 4 hours, I could make out ki kitna
yeah,
aata hai, kitna pani mein hai. So all those things were pretty clear for
yeah,
me. And the
exactly.
second thing is like Shriram, what helped me is like initially whenever I used to give this 40 marks questions, 40 marks
Mm.
or 10 marks, it was like for me, which one is the answer? Which like it was always a unclear thing ki kaun sa sahi hai, kaun sa sahi. But attending all this weekly sessions with you, what I realized is you gave one tip to someone. Someone said that you remove what is not right. So 2 questions will be removed from that. So other 2 you can answer. So that really helped me.
Very good. Nice to know. Nice to know. Very
So
good. Good you
yeah,
did
that
that.
was a nice thanks to you.
Perfectly good. So now coming back to the exam preparation. So you have a plan of June
Third week.
3rd week, which is 30 days from now. 30 or 25 days. Okay. Now, certain plans here. You should first have a tentative date in your mind, at least 2 dates in that particular time in a calendar marker, number
Yeah.
one. And the good thing is you started your full exam already, which showed how much effort it takes. But don't worry, first full exam, that is how it will be for anyone. Second full exam will get a little better because you know the trick of what to do.
Yeah.
Usually people after 120 questions, they lose the total rhythm. Between 120 and 160 or 55, they'll be a little shaky. They keep on clicking. Last 15 questions, they'll be eager that exam is getting over. They started choosing it properly. Last 20 questions, they answer properly. But at 120 to 150, 55 is a tough time. So this is the reason we have that 10 minutes break. Exactly after 120 questions, you should take a break. Information to everyone, not only for Hema. In ShriLearning portal, when you write an exam for 4 hours, we have given 20 minutes added in the old overall time for a break. When you start an exam, there's 2 lines written in the beginning, which says that every 60 questions take a break. So what is the approximation of exam time? We suggest that first 60 questions take 90 minutes of time. Second 60 questions take 70 minutes of time. Third 60 questions take another 70 minutes of time. If you sum it up, 90, 70, and 70, totally it will become 230 minutes. In ShriLearning portal, you will see 250 minutes, which means we added 20 more minutes extra, which will give you a break time, right? But time management is a crucial for everyone here who go for the main exam. At the same time, PMI Institute, when they give 180 questions and 230 minutes, this exam can be completed in 3 hour 20 or 3 hour 15 minutes. That is how they set the paper. They give this 20-30 minutes extra. The reason is they know that this exam is taken from 200 plus countries, which means there are countries where they cannot use English as good as even India. India is a better country, use English really well. There are many countries, they don't follow English properly. So they need that 20 minutes extra time to keep that pace. So don't worry, they didn't keep the exam as tight for 4 hours. They kept it only for 3:15. But since we are not native English people, some words will take processing time. You have to process that word and then you come back. Even though you have a good spoken English, but certain words with the situation, your brain cannot process it. It is acceptable. Now, Hema and everyone here, the message is how to improve this. It quickly talks how to improve it. One is reading the book. Nice. But that alone will not help. Then what will help? There is something called a glossary. It is in pmi.website, pmi.org. You can read it in the mobile when you're on the bus. We're in office, 20 minutes, you get a break, you can read it. pmi.org, there is a place called glossary. One. Second place, Agile Practice Guide book. In Agile Practice Guide book, the last few pages, they have a glossary. So what glossary means, Shriram? They pick up some keywords, they put that word in the glossary and give 1.5 line, 2 lines of explanation. It looks simple, but believe me, that is what going to help you in main exam. Because these words, you understood what it mean by that lines, In an exam, when you see that word coming inside the question, your brain starts working faster. Okay, this is what it means. So I'm really happy with management knowledge of people from Asia. But the only problem with us is, since we are not native English people, that words don't catch up with us. That's the reason time consumption is high. Okay. So Hema, coming back to you again. You started with your first full exam. Now I would request you to analyze the question paper and see the gap. When I say a gap, why certain questions we couldn't answer. Certain subject still you didn't answer properly, which means we are urgent in reading the question. Or I was taking too much of time in answering. When you take too much time, also you make mistakes. Some questions you take 3 minutes, 4 minutes, there also you make mistakes. So there is a time of 1 minute, 1.5, that's a limit. Beyond that, anything goes wrong. So you have to choose by intuition, choose right answer, move away. So coming back to you, keep me posted on your scores. Are you in touch with me in the WhatsApp?
No, I'm in touch with Rahul.
Okay, very good. Nice. Then proceed on. Keep posted on the scores, what you're doing. And I would say you can block your date 3 to 4 weeks from now, provided
I'm
have at least 3 to 4.
For 21st.
Very good.
21st
Go ahead.
June.
Very good. Which city you are from?
I'm from Pune.
Pune. Okay, check out the exam center where it is.
Sriram, can I take it home-based exam?
You can. Are you living in a place where the power could be handled
it is all
by
good.
backup? Internet can be handled.
Yes.
Okay. When both are handled, when you have a peaceful place, which means not noisy, I would say go for it. One advice on this, don't use office laptop.
Oh, okay.
The reason is, in office laptop, we have something called firewall. The firewall is to protect any newcomers. When you start the exam, PMI Institute, that Pearson, is a newcomer to your office.
Okay.
Which means this newcomer won't work like an exam. The newcomer come and take control of mic, camera, keyboard. 3 things it will control. Because of this malpractice happening in the exam, they will control your camera, mic, and keyboard. When you try to access these 3 items, your firewall will protect it. It won't allow you. Because of which your exam will not start.
Oh, okay.
Right? So advice is, if you can get a laptop or a computer from your friend for a day, use it, write the exam at home. I have some people borrow a laptop for a day, use it, complete it, give it back. If that's the case, you can go for it.
Okay, I'll have to find out in that case. Do we have some small like a video or some sample thing where we can actually check with our system first and then give?
You can. It is there in Pearson website, pearson.com. If you go, Pearson VUE, it is there. It will test. In the test, it will pass. But in the main exam, it won't work.
Okay.
They are yet to fix that issue. They still have that issue. In a practice exam, when you go for a practice, I'm going to show you right away what to do. After Hema, I'll go to other person who has exam details. Okay, Hema, for you. You have to go to Pearson VUE in the internet.
Okay.
And this is a third party. Pearson VUE is a third party with which PMI Institute tied up. Shriram, what do you mean by tied up? When you pay exam fee, some portion of money goes to them. So you have to go to this Pearson, you have to type PMI, Project Management Institute, and then you have to log in with your ID. You can check your seat availability, test center, all factors are there. So in this login, if you go, you will start seeing information about how to test your system.
Okay.
For many people, it says your computer is good for the main exam. But when the main exam comes, it stops working. This is an information I heard a few months back. Now, how does it work? I'm not aware. So you have to check that part. Okay. So message here is, see, I got not phone from me. Okay, then I didn't pay the money. So for the people who pay the exam fee, you will get the login access. For me, I have to check test center. If I want, I can check. I would request you to see if any nearest center is available for Pune. Here it is. So there are some centers available. I would say if it's close by, go to the center.
It's close by, in fact. I can go.
Close by? Okay.
World Trade Center.
Okay. All right. So that's a message to you. Keep up the preparation. If you're in touch with Rahul, keep him updated what is happening on this course.
Yeah, sure.
There we go. All right. Thanks and good wishes, Hema. Before we go to question answer session, I want to listen a few more people who want to go for exam. Then I'll go for a question answer session. Anyone else who have a exam close by?
Yes, sir. Satinder, on 23rd of June.
23rd of Satinder. I think we are in touch with WhatsApp. Is that right? Very good. So what's happening, Satinder? Can you give some highlight?
I did today 40 question exam again. I fell to 58. I don't know. I was in hurry or some. So maybe because when I revised, there are almost like 10 questions which I mistakenly choose the answers, or maybe nari that, or maybe sometimes you feel like I know it and you do a mistake. And you rightly for a few questions I waited too much. I thought too much on it. One of the things which I did.
Okay. So there one information, you have taken 4 full exams. Is that right?
Three
you took. Third one you got above 60, 67, right? 66 or something you got. Okay, nice. Your average is good so far. Question to you is, how many days you have the main exam?
From now it is 23rd of June. So almost like...
You have a long time. You any reason you kept it for June last, or you are also willing to prepone it?
Prepone it will charge again, right?
I think there are some days before that you can do it. Maybe to check with Rahul once. 30 days, I believe.
30 days. Yeah.
Then we cross it already. Okay, leave it.
$70.
Yeah, it's unnecessary expense. But Satinder, your scores are good. Little polishing, you can write the main exam. Nothing more needed right now. You are on the right stage. But what I would say is, since you have 1 month of time, it's too long. I don't want you to lose the rhythm. So take another 2, maybe 3 full exams that you can do. Still, it's heavy, but since you have much time, we use it. In this gap, you can take some of the chapters in Agile to tune yourself.
Okay.
Right? Are you working in Agile environment?
No, it's mixed hybrid type.
Hybrid model. So how is your Agile confidence level right now?
Agile confidence is good. It is quite good. Agile confidence is quite. I stuck into something like conflict management, where a lot of options are there. Then figuring out which option is good. There, like in today's exam also, I got stuck in this collaborating or confronting this.
Okay, where you are reading all this content? I mean, for these topics, when you're struggling, where are you reading it?
And happens.
Maybe I lost you for a while.
Sometimes I go online, so just to clarify more, and probably maybe with some different author, it makes the content.
Okay, nice. You're doing that.
Today,
I would also recommend to go for a PMBOK 7th edition. In PMBOK 7th edition, there are some concepts explained. It is the same repetition of concept, but they too have in that book. Have you opened the PMBOK 7th edition by any chance?
No, last time I did, but this time I didn't open.
Yeah, as I said, the PMBOK 7th, we use it for reference. Okay. If you just go through this, I'm just having the book in front of me. I'm trying to see some topics. There are a few topics I have gone through last week. I felt it was, I know I have read it before in different books, but they too have given a good concepts there. Please go through that. Rita do have it. If you read in resource management, you will see some information about conflict handling. They even talk about conflict stages, 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe you would have seen that stages also.
Yes.
Been explained, right? But the point is, it is not only reading the theoretical things will help us, because in the exam it's a situation, right? So you have to start visualizing that situation in these points. Then only it will help you.
Okay.
But honestly, your scores are good, Satinder. I'll tell that you're on the right stage. A little more tuning and polishing, you will easily cross 75, 73.
Right. And sometimes when I gave the last third exam, it was very lengthy questions, and I feared that would I be able to close the exam. So I didn't took any break, maybe a single break, quick water, and I finished the exam in last 5 minutes spare. I mean, for me.
Yeah, it happens for the main exam because some questions people feel it's heavy. It's PMI, it's mixed up, man. I think, see, I've heard some people complete the exam and come out and say, Shri, you know what? Exam was super easy, man. ShriLearning paper was so tough for me. You guys kept it super tough, but it was so easy. Last week, a woman went to the exam. She came back and said, Shri, the main exam was super crazy tough, man. But when I see the background of people, some people who work in management for a long time, for them, they feel ShriLearning is a tough, whereas the main exam is easy. I have people who not worked in management for a long time. They feel tough in ShriLearning, super tough in PMI also, because they don't have a real life situation problem all the day. So they struggle. Yeah, that's also possible.
One thing which I will share is when the exam was ending, the second last question came up to be a calculation question, which I was not expecting. And I was like, oh God, why this calculation question came as the second last?
What calculation does? CPI, SPI?
Yes, I quickly solved it with there was graph and all. In third exam, there was graphs were coming, and
Okay.
that was I was zooming the screen and checking it. Oh my God.
Happens. But main exam, don't expect that that calculation, but the concept question will be there. They put a situation, CPI is 0.8. What is your decision on this place? That kind of question you will expect, but no calculation. PERT calculation is coming, but I heard many people are struggling with that PERT calculation because they don't give the number directly. They give a number indirectly, so they are struggling hard. That's what's happening. Okay. Good. Quickly, I saw some message from Maulik Mehta. Maulik and everyone here. You have something called lexicon. They don't call it as a glossary. Lexicons in PMI. So you can go to this website. You can bookmark this page in your mobile or in your computer. So imagine you have a lunch break after which you come 15 minutes, you want to do something. If I'm there, I'll pick up the word letter O and I'll read something on the O, what all is there. It explains optimistic duration. What does it mean? If I read 3 times on this kind of O alone, I got some idea. Next time somebody is talking about this organization enabler or some topic in the question, I will straight away connect it with this idea and I'll answer better. Keep in mind, as I said earlier, many of us are not native English people. It is not bad. It is not a curse. But your brain processing takes time. To avoid that processing time, we are reading this. By reading this, you have this information in your RAM memory. You know RAM memory in computer? You store in a RAM memory. So what happens is when you start your exam, these words are so handy for you to help. It's like a person who wants to speak in a language, you should know the vocabulary of that language. You're learning the vocabulary that's important for the exam. That is top.
Right. I faced, sorry to cut, I faced 2 questions from Agile Practice Guide glossary. Later, when when exam was completed, then I saw it was in glossary. Then I went to glossary. There were so many things which has to be read. Then I read the full UPG glossary. I never read till late. Then I read.
Yes, the more the glossary you read, better for you. And also, I would expect people to read in framework chapter of Rita. There is explanation about roles and responsibilities of a team, roles and responsibilities of a project manager. When we read this, high chances you start stepping into the shoes of a manager or a team member as per PMI thought process, and you start answering. This is one of the efficient way of answering. Of course, you are a manager, you are a leader, or you may be a leader in future. You try to assume on your own and answer the question. But if you see from PMI perspective, that is the way you have to answer, because that's a PMI examination, right? It's not my exam. It's not your exam. It's a PMI exam. So we have to see from their perspective. That's a reason. And the third point is PMI ethics. Many people think ethics means talking about corruption, talking about wrong behavior. No. Ethics is a way of life. In a street, if you're walking, if you see something wrong, you have an ethic which is given by your parent. You have to question it, or at least you have to help somebody. That the ethic you learn from your parents, or maybe your religion says, if you have a belief on that, or the God system, what you follow. For this, you don't need to have a super science knowledge. It's a basic thumb rule. PMI put that as 4 points: responsibility, respect, honesty, fairness. This, I don't think you have to read and learn. It should be on your system already. But unfortunately, for some of us, ethics could be part of our life. But when it comes to corporate, we use the word practically. But practically, will you do this? No. There is nothing called practical theoretical. You are all the time. So that habit and behavior should be within you. When you do that, that's nice. You have some situation when you will see your real character when you're home alone. It's men or women. You see your whole character when you're home alone. Maybe when you're grown up this age, you may not. Imagine your age of adolescent. You remember that age? 18, 15, 22, right? That a warm age time. When you're home alone, you know your character. But still, there are some people who know what to do on that age also, which means the ethics is well set. There are even some people today, when you're home alone, the character is something different. You have a split personality. This does not come from books. It should come, it's a behavior. But when you go to exam, you have to keep these ethics in mind to answer some questions, because you know the roles, you know the ethics. Now you know the bubble of PMI. Now when you read a question, it starts making better sense why they're asking this. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Here we give a pass and move to the people who have put the hands up. I'm not going to stop here with the people having exams asking questions. You can. Now we'll start with some question answers. Bring some question. I expect people who are asking question at least show your face so I know whom I'm talking with. Starting with the Deepti. I saw your hands up. Please go ahead.
Hi, Shriram.
Yes.
Just a second.
You're able to share the screen, bring the question.
Yeah, and yeah, I want to tell, let you know one more thing, that I'm having an exam on 27th of June.
1 month from now. Okay.
Yeah, I had messaged you
Yes.
with the scope also.
Yes. You are in a good stage right now, what I observed. Okay. So what's your question, Deepti?
Yeah, so I just wanted to know one more thing. I am good with Agile also right now, but while giving the mock, what question I've seen 2-3 questions around the procurement area. So I'll bring up on screen also right now that a particular question. Just share my screen quickly.
Sure, Deepti. I remember your first exam score, which was in a really good score. I remember your time management also good now.
Yeah,
okay.
Actually, I wasn't aware that, I read on the screen that I can take 20 minutes break, but then I was not aware that, that time is included in it.
Okay.
So I thought I'm still having time. So I took that break myself only, 6 minutes break, but still I had 23 minutes in my hand. So I'm just deducting those 20 minutes of break.
Okay.
That means I had about 10 minutes in my hand.
Still, it's a good job. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just bring up the question.
Okay. Yeah, I can see something. Zoom.
It just got stuck right now.
It's frozen.
Yeah, it's frozen actually.
Okay. Then what I do is, Deepti, I'll get to other person. Come back. Is that fine?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, maybe you have to restart something. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Deepti. I'll come back. Thanks for showing your face. Good to see a person who asked the question. Okay, let's go to Lata.
Hi, Shri.
Hey.
Yeah, I have a question regarding this.
For Deepti. Now, Lata, you can take over.
Yeah, I have a question regarding yesterday's 40 questions more.
Very good. Bring it up. Okay. Yep. Visible?
Yeah. Okay. The question is 35th question. So yeah, I'll just read out the question. So one of your hardware vendors send you an email stating that due to several weather. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. Not the question. I'm so sorry.
Oh, different question. Okay.
Shri, I'm so sorry. I'll just come back.
No problem. I know many questions we see, sometimes we don't know which question.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I somehow I lost that question.
Okay.
I just come back. So sorry.
All right. You can search and come back.
Yeah,
So
yeah, sure.
the option is going to jump to Hema. Before Hema, Deepti, any chance is good for you? Screen is ready? If no, then
Just taking it in a notepad, and I'll share my screen.
all right. I'll go to Hema and come back.
Yeah.
Hema.
I'm sharing my screen here.
Yes, Hema.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Here it says that an agile team is struggling to solve a blocking issue with packaging design. Eventually, they find a solution, but it requires a different product format. What should the team do before further developing the solution? Does it like packaging design and all? Does it mean that are they not clear with the requirements?
Struggling to solve a blocking issue. Packaging design, blocking issue, some blocker. Okay. Eventually they found a solution or find a solution, but it requires a different product format. Okay. Something on the implementation part. Okay. What should the team do before further developing the solution? Okay.
Yeah, here, what I selected was create a prototype and demo it to the end customer. The second, these two are not, I've ruled these two out because run a cost benefit analysis to determine its value. That's not a solution. Check if the change is consistent with the product vision. This is also, I felt it is not right. So I've ruled out this two. I was confused between these two things. Ask the product owner to approve the change or create a prototype demo. So I felt like here they are not clear with the requirement itself. So I felt like they can create a prototype and demo it to the customer and then take the feedback and implement it. Because they are anyways, and here like initially itself, they are telling like ask the product owner to approve the change.
Makes sense. Okay, let's see some more points. D says check if the change is consistent with the product vision. C says run a cost benefit analysis to determine its value. Okay. C and D is not the role of the team right now. Okay. Ask the product owner to approve the change. Okay. Create a prototype and demo it to the end user. Okay. Okay. What is the problem here? An agile team is struggling to solve a blocking issue with the packaging design. Packaging design. Okay. Let us imagine a situation. There is an X company. In X company, there are 8 people working together. And they want to complete some design for, shall we take an IT product or shall we take a non-IT product? When you say packaging design, what pops up in your mind?
Packaging a food product.
Sorry?
Can I give my view on the question?
Yeah, we'll go there.
If you allow.
I think we're breaking.
Sir, Satinder, can I give my
Yes,
view?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Sir, what I can see in the question is that they already found the solution.
Yeah.
It means if there is a change involved. If there is any change, the only option which correct is the product owner who can change, who can approve.
Okay.
Which I see from my perspective.
Now, yeah, I by your point, but what was the question from Deepti is, since it's a new format, why don't we show a demonstration of something, how it is going to look like to the customer? That was
But demonstration means teams' efforts are going somewhere before, So if teams' efforts are going in developing a prototype, I will say it is a little waste of time. You supposed to know that we have found a solution. Either we take a prototype, either we do a change. That is depending on product owner, what he says.
Okay. Now let's look from the agile perspective. Thanks, Satinder, for that point. I appreciate that. So now let's put an example of there is an X company, and this X company is doing a product. Let us consider as an information technology, some product they're doing. Okay. There is some challenge on that. When I say challenge, initially they thought they want to go with Amazon cloud platform to do some factors to deliver value to the customer. End user is in a different part of the world. Now, what happened is, then they found Amazon cloud is going to be challenging because of certain blockers there. Now, the team is what they're deciding is we can do this, but let us do this not with Amazon cloud. Let's go with the Google cloud. So instead of Amazon cloud, if I use the Google cloud, there is a high opportunity we can complete this work, so we can deliver it, pack it, deliver it to the customer who can use it in other part of the world. Now, team want to move forward. Now, yes, team can do that. Prototyping and demoing. More than that, prototyping, demoing is only when you want to prove that it is working or not working. But found a solution means I believe they have an answer with them.
Okay.
So now the question is, do I need to proceed with the Amazon cloud or a Google cloud? Yeah, team can go for it. But somebody who really knows the voice of the customer, somebody like a product owner or product manager, who has a better visibility to comment on, can I go with Amazon or a Google? And will it also have an impact on my overall vision of my product? There comes the answer D. Check if the change is consistent with the product vision. D. This D will be done by the person in the B. In answer B, you have a product owner, right?
Right.
He or she should do C and D.
Okay.
When the team reach out product owner, hey, you know what? We thought Amazon cloud, but look like there are some blockers. So we are thinking to move to Google cloud, which will make it to work. Maybe in another 2 weeks, we can complete it. Now the product owner should buy this idea, go back home, do the research of C and D, and come back and tell whether to go or not to go. There, now the product owner can question them. Okay, guys, can you show me a demonstration of how does it work? Then probably you'll go for A.
Okay.
Right. So many in information technology or in Agile, what they do is they feel prototyping is kind of a time consumption. Rather, they do something valuable, usable, workable, and share with the customer. A worst scenario, you don't know what to do, then you do a prototype for it. But if not, these kind of scenarios, we get a buy-in from the product owner, and then we start working towards it.
Yes.
Yeah. A nice question. Nice question. I think, Satyendra, that's what your view is? All right, let's move to the next question. You have a next question?
Yes. On an agile team, staff members from various organizational departments rotate in and out to augment the team. How can the project manager help shield the permanent team members from the disruption? So what I understand here, the question is like, in an agile, there is a team, and the team members are being rotated from one project to other project.
Yeah.
So how can the project manager actually keep their team members intact in the project? So what I felt is like giving them authority to assign tasks to the rotating members. So this I did not understand, because whom they are talking about, to whom they have to give the
team
authority.
members.
So ask staff leaving the project to pick members who deserves recognition. Give them high priority to choose which task they work on. Require staff leaving the project to run a knowledge sharing workshop. So, like, how does this make sense? Require staff leaving the project to run a knowledge sharing workshop. Like, why will they interfere in our project so that the project manager can actually keep his team intact?
Okay. The question is, how can the project manager help shield the permanent team members from disruption? Disruption of what?
Moving out of the project.
Okay, that is one. If they move out of the project, what can be an impact? Rotation happens, what is an impact?
No, but like the project manager would not like his core members to move out, right? Like the permanent team members always.
True. See, the first purpose of this rotation is, if you see the first sentence, on an agile team, staff members from previous organizations, departments, rotate in and out. See, in organizations, you see these rotations keep happening. The purpose of rotation is first keeping the knowledge intact. You don't want the knowledge go away from the company.
Okay.
There are some key players in the team. I like the key players, but what if the key players are sick? What if the key players leave the organization? So I don't want to lose the knowledge. That's the reason we rotated. Okay. That's the reason we rotated. But the question is going towards how to shield the permanent team members from disruption. Okay, disruption. Okay. When I say disruption, I see that how we lose their knowledge, or how to protect not losing them. Not how to protect. Only way of protecting them is I can't hold them by higher salary. I can't hold them by giving rewards that will stay for some time. But beyond that, knowledge, the purpose of why we want some people in the system is knowledge. Before even I go to this topic, yesterday we had something called fundamentals of project management. There I was bringing one topic, the difference between agile team and non-agile team. In a non-agile team, what will happen is the team work until the project is there. Once the project is over, they dismantle the team, which means team got dispersed. They go to different projects. If 8 members are there, 8 members will be distributed to different teams. Whereas in agile, the one thing what we observed in the last 10-20 years is the team will not get dismantled, and they will keep working together for a long duration, which means they have a good rapport with the team members. At the same time, the knowledge is preserved. And the companies are saying that is helping them to achieve more, because a team together for more than a year or for a long duration, they start finding out the good things within them, and that rhythm works well. It has a negative impact also. Some people dump is always a dump, but still it is, as a book that says, more than dismantling, you follow the same team, it works really well, which means the knowledge is retained. Now, keeping this in mind, can you read the explanation? Let's see if anything is helping us.
Yeah, loss of skills is one of the most disruptive factors to a team.
Okay.
Yeah, knowledge sharing also.
Okay. Now I think it makes sense, right? Now, because the disruptive word was a little distracting me. Read the disruptive again. Let's read
In
it.
fact, what I got confused with Shriram, because they were rotating in and out, because I thought like there is a resource crunch. So because of the resource crunch, they are rotating the they're sharing the resources. So in that case, how can this help? I was expecting.
Yeah. Now I get this. Explanation gives sense now. Yeah. Now can you scroll a little up? I want to read that last sentence of the question.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. How can the project manager help shield the permanent team members from disruption? So now, when I read this question, or even before that, something was triggering my mind is, when I say disruption, I like the permanent people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to hug them, hold them. For me, disruption means knowledge or some skill sets, right? So how to shield is, the way you do. Now let's read the answer. Give them higher priority to choose which task they work. It's an autonomy. What you're saying is an autonomy. You give autonomy to people that they choose what they want to do, but that will not help you to preserve the knowledge or the disruption shielded. Whereas, let me read B also. Ask staff leaving the project to pick members who deserve recognition. Recognition is fine, but why the leaving people has to do?
Why will they leave the project?
What does this mean to augment the team in this sentence?
Shri, can I probably the way I understood this question is because I worked in a similar role where we had teams from various other country locations who we collaborated with.
Please.
And when we get projects or anything that we are undertaking, for the very first month, there will be few key members from the other locations who used to help us share that skill and knowledge at that point of time, for the very first month when that handover is happening. So when that's happening, so that's the logic I applied here. So let's say if I'm working with somebody from the US, so my work, if I'm doing task 1 to 10 and at task 5, if I have to stop, there is a disruption of that work there, because I need someone from the other country location to let me know what is that I need to do next. But rather, if I already had that knowledge sharing, if they had told me, if I had that knowledge base with me of what I need to do in a flow from task 1 to 10, then there won't be any work disruption. So that knowledge is already within the key team that's working here. So that that way, it will be like we are going to be the permanent members for the project, right? We are the key team. So that way, the work is going as normal as usual. So that's the knowledge that I applied here when I chose the correct answer for this question.
Got
So
you.
yeah.
Got you. So the point is, when you say disruption here, it could be on the work.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
And the work disruption could happen because of lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's a good way of analysis. Hema, you found that connecting?
Yeah.
All right. So shall we jump to next question?
Yeah, that's it from my end.
Perfect. Thanks, Hema.
Thanks.
I heard from Deepthi or Lata. Someone is having trouble. Who is good now? Deepthi or Lata?
Yeah, sure.
Deepthi, good. Nice. Let's see your screen right now. I think Maulik also put the same message in the chat box. Loss of knowledge is a loss.
Yeah.
Visible 160.
Okay, so this is one question which I have right now. An agile team wishes to subcontract some of the project work rather than formalizing an entire contracting relationship in a single contract. The team wishes to describe different aspects of the relationship in different documents. Which of the following documents should be used to define the mostly fixed items such as warranties and arbitration? So I had selected this one, but what I understood, while going through the notes and everything, there's only one document in Agile, but after there, I could find two, three questions in the mock saying that, there are different types of documents, for procurement, which are linked in Agile. So I wanted to know, the answer that I've selected right now is wrong because it's in master agreement.
Okay.
So is it so that there are different type of agreements which are there in Agile and which are getting linked to each other?
Yes, it is. All right. So when you read procurement, or at least procurement, when we discuss in the class, you have any idea? We saw something for Agile on procurement. You remember anything out of it?
It's there's one thing which is, I think it starts from G. Gradual.
Okay, I'll come to that point. So first, let's understand the question. The question is, an Agile team wishes to subcontract some of the project work. Subcontracting, even though it says Agile team, they are taking some portion of the work to another company, subcontracting. Rather than formalizing the entire contracting relationship in a single contract, you don't want to put everything into one umbrella. Rather, the team wishes to describe different aspects of relationship in different documents. When I say different documents, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3. Which of the following documents should be used to define the mostly fixed item? They're questioning you in which document you will have the fixed item, such as warranties and arbitration. So the message, the moment you read this, maybe you can trigger something in your brain. In a contract, first, Agile is so variable, keep going to change. But in Agile also, there could be certain areas which is a very fixed, right? Now the question is targeting where you will store those fixed information. That's a question. So let me put for that some show to you something. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to bring something to you. You are from April batch, am I right, Deepthi?
It was last year.
Last year, right? So, okay, then you may not have seen this. This is what we discussed in the last class for the current batch, which talked about Agile contracts. There is something called multi-tiered contract. Instead of locking all the terms in a single big contract, parties can achieve more flexibility by using multi-contracts for different aspects. One is fixed items, like warranties and arbitration can be locked under master agreement. Subject that will change can be added under another set of service. Dynamic items. So the message is, in Agile, even though we follow the same contracting system, I want to keep you this in mind, because Agile comes in doesn't mean contract changes altogether. No, because there are still many areas in projects and products which will have well fixed information. So when I say fixed information, I can put that information in one set of contract which will run for me. I will have some dynamic related information can be in another contract, because I know this is flexible. What do you mean by flexible is the contract keeps the doors open. If a new change comes in, I will update this contract based on the change and need. Whereas this contract, I will not touch at all. Once I signed, it will work for next 2 years. So the question is targeting on fixed items. Of course, you can read these information in, you will get it in, maybe if you go to Rita 10th edition, or you will see this in books like a PMBOK 7th edition, some information, but still many Agile contracts are not well clear in the market yet, because these are just a proposal in the market. However, this is so evident that certain items are fixed. I can keep it in one doc, one contract. Flexible items, I can keep it in a different set. That's a message. Now, if you bring your question.
Yeah.
If you come to this question, now read the last sentence.
Which of the following documents should be used to define the mostly fixed items such as warranties and arbitration?
Right. So the message here is the fixed items. Even though it is an Agile flexible, in Agile flexible also, I have certain areas which is a fixed, like a warranty, arbitration, or could be some portion of requirement. See, I said subcontracting. I take example of a company which is developing airlines related product. In airlines related product, certain areas I'm very clear this is a fixed, nothing going to change here. I will keep that portion of the work item in a fixed contract. I'll fix it in the document. This is what I'm going to do. I'm clear on this work details. This is going to consume me 8 months of time. It's going to charge me 0.5 million. I'm clear on it. In the same airlines product, some portion are very dynamic, which means based on the market availability and demand, things could change. I don't want to club that under the main document. I'll put in another contract, which I know will start reflecting 4 months from now. So they're giving this option for the people to tell, you don't put everything in one doc. That makes a lot of confusion. Let's divide into two. But this all goes back to the company to company. They should agree, right? I'm saying I want to put in master agreement, but your opponent company says, no, we don't do like this. It's a time consumption process for us. Whatever you put, you have to put in one single document. So you cannot say anything for that. You have to go for it. But it's a recommendation from PMI Institute and people. Yep.
I wasn't aware.
All right. That's a good question, right? It makes us to learn something.
I have one more question.
Please.
This is the one. You planned a trip to destination 400 miles away from home. You found out there is a long stretch of construction on one of the major highways that you are planning to use. You decide to use another highway for that stretch of driving so that you do not have to wait too long in traffic. This is an example of. So I saw this first option, avoiding risk. I was about to select it, but then I saw another option of creating a workaround. And I selected this thinking that, I am having a workaround of selecting another way also.
Okay. Before we answer this, have you gone through the risk strategies in books?
Risk strategies, yeah.
Okay, the types of risk strategies, have you seen that already?
Types of risk strategies, yes.
Okay, so what are the strategies you remember? If you at least have something in your mind already. Just trying to see how can we
avoid. We have avoid. We have accept, mitigate.
Very good.
These are for the negative risk. We have for positive risk also. Now
Very
this
good.
is for
Nice.
the negative risk.
Very good. Nicely said. So now the message is, rightly you said, first it's a negative, which means while I'm driving, there is a construction happening, and this construction could delay my travel. So I have predicted this before I take my car. You planned a trip. You didn't start, you planned a trip. Which means risk means always a future anticipation. As per the future anticipation, you found, okay, guys, there is something there. And now you have to either you have to write something like this. I'm going to stop sharing your screen and come back again. Okay. You see the screen, what I'm sharing?
Yeah.
All right. So I think this is what you mentioned, right? The strategies. So we can escalate to somebody saying that the roads are not good. Nothing is going to help you, right? You can accept it passively or actively and do something for it. Okay. You can't transfer it. You cannot go and fix the road. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can write a strategy that can help you not get into the trouble, right? So now, okay, let's park this. I heard a workaround. So when the word workaround comes in risk, is it something you tried a mitigation or an avoidance? It doesn't work. Then you find another way.
Okay.
Or on a first shot, you will do workaround.
When we try something and if it is not working, then we go around for, then we take a workaround.
Then you do a workaround, right? That too, how do you do here is, I know this is part of the classes. There are certain risks we call as residual risk, secondary risk. Have you heard about it?
Right, yes.
The risk remains, even though you fix it, remains as a residual risk. Secondary is because of this something getting triggered. Right? Now, there are certain risks which you try a path and you have a plan to solve it, but you couldn't solve it. Then what you do is you find a workaround for it. What can be done? But it is not a good thing. The more the workaround you have, it means we are not creating a good plan to avoid a risk, isn't it?
Right.
Workaround maybe once or twice you can do. If you continuously do workaround, you burn your team's energy. Right? That's a point. I'll stop sharing here. Now bring your question. We'll see again one more time.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now the situation is you planned, which is going to for the past, future. So for the future, you're doing this. And the last sentence reads like this. You decide to use another highway for that stretch of driving, which means you are avoiding the trigger of that particular risk happening. In risk, there is something called trigger. Okay. Yes. So by rerouting, by changing a route, what you're doing is you are avoiding that particular trigger happening, right? So that you do not have to wait too long in a traffic. Let's read the justification also, what this is. Can you please read it?
Yeah. So explanations are like this. Risk avoidance is the elimination of the threat by eliminating the cause or changing the project management plan. This is an example of avoidance since you are changing your travel plan to eliminate the threat of traffic delay.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to see this. How can I put it? Anyone here want to comment how you would say a mitigation for this? Mitigation for this.
I would say I would relate workaround with the issue already happened. It means if you are already going and you are in the plan and you found the road already blocked, then at that point of time you start doing workaround. But if you already know in future, already you know that that road is blocked or construction is going on, then
which means Satyendra, you mean that a risk plan was there, you applied, it doesn't work, then you go for a workaround. Or you don't know this, you realized only there, which means it's an issue. Because of an issue, you're creating a workaround.
Yes, workaround is
Both can happen. Okay, very good. Now, question to everyone here. Now, avoid, we saw it's a strategy to stop the trigger of that particular issue happening. I didn't trigger at all. Trigger means, in the pistol, we have a trigger. You avoid the trigger of getting in the risk of waiting too long. The trigger itself, you avoid it. Now, question to you, how mitigation can come here? In what case mitigation can come here? In what situation it will turn into mitigation? Mitigation means reducing that risk. You cannot stop it. It will happen, but you have to reduce it. What do you do here?
Can we have multiple paths already planned for us so that if we found this, we already know which way to go the other way? I'm just thinking aloud.
I may not get it. What you're saying?
I was trying to say for going from destination A to B, we already plan a couple of routes. So that if one route gets stuck.
Avoid is you are rerouting your route itself. Instead of A, you're going by B. But mitigation is you cannot go by B. A is the only way. Now, how do you mitigate it? That's mitigation, right? I believe that's a mitigation, at least to my understanding.
Right.
Maybe you can sort of try to schedule maybe before, let's say if the plant construction is happening on a second week, we can try and change the schedule of when you want to travel. It can be maybe before or after the construction. So we can do it before. So that way you're sort of mitigating it.
No, I'm also trying to see that. I know a question, if you take it and try to change the direction, it won't work directly. But I'm trying to see how to see this mitigation, because I want to put this in mind for the people listening here.
Right.
Avoid is totally getting away. The trigger itself not there. Instead of A, I'm going by B. Correct. Mitigation means you cannot change. There is no option. You have to travel that day, maybe. Jacob or Sandra, I'm saying that it could be on that day. Keep in mind, mitigation means reducing the intensity of the issue, bringing the intensity of issue a little down.
So like I said, let's say if the construction is happening on a major highway. So maybe construction is not happening 24/7, right? There will be a small
past time. Okay.
Yes. No, so if you see a lot of people who want to, leave the highway and then exit the highway, we plan our travels early in the morning so that there's less traffic and we can, avoid it. So that way we can sort of mitigate. So that's what we do generally when we go on road trips, right? We try to leave early so that we can exit and hit the highway. So, or move across that stretch. So maybe that could be a possibility.
That again, I think is avoided.
Or maybe to use some car if available with high ground clearance.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the way. I don't want to drag much on this. Thanks, Sandra and other people here. One request to people here is whenever you see a risk, don't stop with one idea. See what will happen if I want to escalate in this case. See what if I want to accept it. I remember last week we discussed acceptance in the risk. You all remember what is the two things of acceptance and risk? Two ways of acceptance. What are the two ways of acceptance?
Positive and negative.
Passive, active. You remember that? Passive and active. Passive means passive acceptance. You accept it. You know there is a problem, but you accept. I gave an example, passive smokers. I usually give an example in corporate. If there is a senior director, you will have one free attachment with this director. Have you seen the free attachment? Buy one, get two offer. These guys always be with the director. And the director will smoke and these guys will stand in front of him, get all the smoke. Passive smokers. So which is nothing but accepting it's a trouble. Yeah, it is. That is passive. Then what is active acceptance? Active acceptance is you accept it, but you take some action on it. Right? That's what you do now. Now, I don't want to drag much on this question itself, but just a thought to you. Risk means don't see only one direction. see multiple direction, because in exam they easily change some words here and there and make the question itself tricky for you. So as you read carefully, you will see different scenarios in one question. All right, guys. Thanks. Is it Deepthi I'm talking to?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, Deepthi. And again, is it fine, Deepthi? Good for you?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Let's get to Lata. Lata, I found your question.
Yeah, Shri.
Nice. Let's go to Lata. Next, I have Maulik and Poonam. Yes, Lata.
I'm sharing my screen.
Sorry, actually, I'm having the concern on the same type of question, like on the risk mitigation.
Very good. Please go. Let's talk. Question 35.
No, I'm Poonam here.
Oh,
so
it's
I just interrupted Lata. Yeah.
Oh.
Just wanted to keep on the same topic. That's why is it okay?
Shall we go to Lata and come back?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Don't mind. She's waiting for a while. Don't worry, I'll come back. I won't forget the topic. Yeah. Yes,
Shri, it is actually 36th question. I was reading 35. Just miss. Yeah, I'll just read out the question. After an organization trained and implemented a new mandatory project management software application for all the project staff, the project manager noticed that several team members show less levels of commitment to a new software. What is the
cause for this? Lata, you are with us? Or at least I lost it. You guys hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, seems you lost it, Lata. Okay, before we come back, let's understand this question. Train and implement a new mandatory project management software. Mandatory, that's a keyword. Project staff, all is a keyword. It is that several team members show low level of commitment to the new software. What is the cause for this? Okay, too much communication, lack of clear project vision, okay, lack of required skills, fear of the unknown. Okay, seems Lata lost the connection. Poonam automatically going to jump to you, but again, what I do is I don't want to disappoint Maulik here.
Yeah, no problem.
Maulik here. I'll go to Maulik and come back to you. Yes, Maulik.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, good to see you, San Francisco. You live in San Francisco? You got up early in the morning?
No. Just the background,
Okay.
Okay, here is the question from the mock which I attempted yesterday.
Just a minute, Maulik. Lata, we read your question. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, Shri. Sure. Yeah.
I think it's not a good day for you, right? Question is skip.
No, from last 3 weeks, no, I will be the first person who raised my hand, but unfortunately, I'll be the last person who will ask the question. I don't know. Something is happening with me. It's okay, no problem. I'll just wait.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back.
Yeah.
Yes, Maulik. Sorry, please go ahead, Maulik.
Yeah, so this question is about float. So due to labor challenges, the construction project Excel is managing got delayed. On the other hand, another project got approved, so he need to start working on it as soon as possible. However, Excel is facing a resource allocation issue. So he starts reviewing activities to find which activity can be started late and which cannot on a network diagram. What kind of activity can we have flexibility without causing project delay? So the three options which are correct here is free float, interfering float, and independent float. So this free float I understand, but this other two I was not able to understand. Like, what are those? I tried searching in our book as well, Rita. I did not get much, so I just wanted to ask with you if you can explain.
Which float you understood?
Free float. I know free float means the activity which is having float. If free float, if it get delayed, then the next activity is having no impact.
Yeah. So, okay. Okay. Now, interfering float. Okay. The answer goes to how many choices? Select 3 out of it.
Yeah,
okay.
3. Yeah, so I'll read the answer. Interfering float is defined as the time span in which the completion of an activity may occur and not delay the termination of the project, but within which the completion will delay the start of some other following activity. Now, this terminology is totally was new for me. And
yes,
then
even in the books you won't see that.
And then independent float also similar but little different. It is telling independent float is the time span in which completion of an activity may occur and not delay the termination of project. This much is same as interfering float. The additional one is not delay the start of any following activity and not to be delayed by any preceding activity.
Yeah, it's totally tricky. These words you don't find in sure in not in books, sure not in exam also. Don't worry, because it is something. It's something above than what is expected. This question is tricky for you. But have you Googled in internet? In internet, you find information.
No, I did not Google it.
No, I find it. Okay. So for information, the message what you got here, interfering float and independent float, it's good to learn. And there you leave it. Don't strain much. If you understand free float, or I'll do something here. You can stop sharing. I'll give you some info.
Okay.
I'm going to share some information for the floats. Okay. This is what you see mostly in the exams. What you saw could be a question which you want to put a little toughness there. But in exam, usually they don't go into float because network diagram has been pulled out of from the exam. If at all they want to ask something, they may ask something on the total float or something maybe on the project float. So when I say total float, the amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying the project. If you remember the network diagram we discussed in the class, right? The network diagram.
Yes.
Yeah, you will have a float. If I say which one is a critical path here, could be
Does the question of start to start, finish to finish type of questions come in the exam nowadays?
No, then totally they pull the network diagram out of the exam. That's the reason I don't want to put people more energy into these places. Please don't get there too much of energy. Understand what does it mean by network diagram. If at all understand what is a float mean, there you stop. The once upon a time till 2021, there used to be questions in this place, but totally PMI has removed it because they found these all done by computers these days. They don't want somebody manually do a calculation of the floats. Floats are calculated by system. Microsoft Project does it properly, or a Primavera does it properly. Even the Excel sheet can do it properly. But you should know float is a time between the activities, or float is a time between the path. The critical path and non-critical path will have some time where you start utilizing for resource optimization. Isn't it? When you have a float, you know that I can pull out 3 guys sitting in a non-critical path, use them in the critical path. That reason, if you learn, that is sufficient for them. Nothing more than this. If I want you to learn, yes, what you learn interim float, independent float, what they say, you got a message, just leave it. If you learn these kind of floats, what they mean, and how a float will be used in a system, as I was pointing out here, if you see a critical and a non-critical path, maybe a critical path, this is a non-critical path. Now, when I see somebody sitting ideally here in non-critical, I'll pull this guy to sit and work here. Why? Because I have a float of maybe 1 day float is here. That 1 day I will use this guy here because I can wait 1 day to start this work. I don't want to start the work right now. I have that 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. I'll use him here. For that reason, for resource optimization, you should know what is float. Beyond that, don't worry on other parameters.
Okay.
All right. Good question. I appreciate that, Maulik.
And here, the last line was total float is for the path and it is not assigned to any single activity.
That's right. So, for the path. For the path.
I was understanding maybe if an activity is having float, we will call it either float or total float. It is interchangeable. Isn't it so?
Yeah, the moment you say the float, we always talk float in a path, not for one.
Okay.
If you remember the network diagram, a network diagram will have, as I showed right now, upper path, lower path, right? So always the float is for a path, but doesn't mean I have to split and give the numbers to each activity. Out of the path, maybe one activity needs 2 days of delay. There is another activity needs 3 days of delay. So I will pull out that float what I have and use it per activity. But when I mention a float is for the whole path. The whole path can be delayed by 2 weeks. Still, the project will not be delayed. That's a message. You remember that old man story, what I said in the class sometime? I don't know how
some building.
Exactly. Right.
We heard it in Feb, so now started forgetting it.
I know. I know it's not easy to remember all. For help of others, I just brought it up. If you remember that old man story, where is the old man? Here it is, the old man story. See, the old man story, I gave a clue about some details. Like what I said is this old man want to give a property to his children. There are 3 kids. 2 daughters asked for some houses and 1 son asked for some other house. One of the house which is going to consume more than, let's say it's acres of land, I gave a clue. One house is a bigger one, which will consume 7 months to complete. One could take 6 months to complete. One could take maybe 9 months to complete. If I ask what is a critical path, what is the critical path here? What is critical path?
9.
9 months.
9 is a critical path. So these 2 can I consider as a non-critical path? Which means 9 months is the time I have to complete my work and hand over to this old man. End of 9th month. Which means when I do 9 months, these 2 can start parallelly. On the first day of the work, I can start all 3 parallelly. Or I can have 2 months gap and then I can start. I can have 3 months gap, I can start. Can I call these numbers as a float? Is it the float?
Yes.
That's a floating time. Why it's a floating time? Because the overall time of a project or product is 9 months. This is a critical path. At any cost, I cannot delay any one activity in this place. I have to do it. When I have this non-critical path, they have some float time. So when I have 2 months delay, I can start 2 months later, still I can complete this. I can start on the first day, but in between I can take a break of 3 months, still I can complete it. And that is the logic behind the float. In exam, they're not worried, do you know what is called total float? They don't worry, do you know what it is? They want to know the logic behind the float, why we have a float. If I have some resources waiting here, I can use that. It's not only human. Imagine there is a JCB machine waiting here in this building. I can call that JCB machine to come here and help me. That sense are you getting? That's what PMI want to see. Not what is float. That's not the question. Right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And another question. Okay. A smartphone manufacturer is reassessing its product development method in response to sharp increase in user complaints. Analysis of the complaints indicate that the users try to use some features in ways that designers did not anticipate. Given these findings, which agile practice would most effectively prevent the problem? So I selected acceptance test driven development with the understanding that maybe the acceptance test need to be created first, and based on that the development will happen, so as to avoid this kind of situation. The correct answer is behavior driven development, and I was not able to get the difference between these two. The explanation written is behavior driven development is an extension of test driven deployment, whereby the automated test and simulations are created before developing the product. But then I thought this is applicable to test driven as well, right? There also we create the test before the development. And then flaws are discovered by forcing the test to fail. Maybe this is not fail before producing the unit in a way that will pass the test. So I was not able to get the difference between these two.
Sure. Before I go there, what domain you work for?
I work in telecom.
Telecom, is it networking or information technology?
No, networks. The actual networks on the field.
Okay, nice. So why I ask this question is, see, when you call behavior driven development, first, are you aware that there are some method exists like that? Behavior driven.
Yeah, I read it in our agile practice guide.
Very good, nice. So acceptance test driven development is also one of the model. Behavior driven model also one of the thing. Mostly in acceptance and behavior look pretty closer to each other. But acceptance test, they start talking about what are the pitfalls, what are the problems based on the acceptance given by the customer himself. You get some acceptance. What makes them to accept a product when you deliver it? Which means you know some of the end goals clearly. When you say behavior, it is also pretty close to that. But we start analyzing the different behavioral pattern of the products, how people use it. It is very getting popular in the market on behavior driven. They give one version of the product and start analyzing the behavior of the people using it. Even today, the products, whatever you use, including the Zoom application, what we're using here, your behavior would be analyzed. Now you all put your hands up here, right? That's there for a few of them. Few of them don't have hands up. Few of them open your camera. Few of them volume is disturbing. They keep watching how our behavior with the product continuously. One is when the product is released. Even the product is not released, they go do some survey with the customers to talk about what are the behaviors will help them to understand it. They call as a empathy, persona. They start getting more close to their day-to-day life. And that is again another point, another view. Or we call there is something called a test-driven development, if you heard about this term also, where what they do is they first write the test case or test scenario even before the real work exists. Nothing will be there, but they have a test for it. Without anything, when you test, what will happen the first time? It'll fail. But they're fine with that. The intention here is not whether it will fail or succeed. The intention is when you write a test, your brain can think better before you do that. So you test it before nothing was existing. Now you develop it, you will do a better development. That's one of the ideology, one of the thought process. Now, these all ways of thinking. Now look at the question.
So now I understood is you mean to say the behavior driven means users behavior, how they will use it. Considering that in mind, the development will happen. Then we will call it as a behavior driven.
Of course, right? But don't think it's new in the world. We are talking this for 1,000 years. Yes, these guys coined some words for it. Do you think our parents used a product without a behavior? They used it, right? But now the information technology came in, the behavior is so much varying for each individual. Those days, my parents buy a product. The same product is used by parents, children, grandparents. But today, that's not the case, right? Your grandparents use something different and you use something different. Your son will use different something. So the behavior is different and changing in some products, not all. I'm not going to generalize it. And that is the reason they are trying some products to understand the real behavior and some flaws, pitfalls in this area, which is good for you, not good for your daughter. Right. So that is how they start analyzing it. That's called behavior development.
Got it. And one more question was there, if time allows. Can I ask? Just
I have Poonam and Lata, 2 people. Okay, quickly go through this. Let's see that.
Okay, now 2 startup companies have merged and now more than 100 developers on 8 agile teams are working on a common portfolio. Which agile practice or method can be best ensure release coordination between the teams? I selected Scrum of Scrums and the answer was feature driven development. Now I did not get this. How come the feature driven development could help in such scenario? And the answer is FDD provides the most complete set of methods specifically for the needs of large software development project. But I was not able to make out how we can arrive at
Okay. A Scrum of Scrum, do you think it's an agile practice? It's one of the ceremony?
It's a practice which we read in APG.
There is something called large scale Scrum. I agree for that. There is it's called large scale Scrum.
There in the same section, Scrum of Scrum was also there. Large scale Scrum, Scrum of Scrum, safe,
discipline
listed down. Discipline agile, correct. So this was also listed.
But still, it's not a very standard method there. But anyway, let's see the question more. 2 startup companies have merged and now have more than 100 developers on 8 agile teams are working on a common portfolio. Okay. On a common vision, common goal, 8 teams are working. Okay. Which agile practice or method can best ensure release coordination? Yeah, Scrum of Scrum is attempting here, but I'm worried Scrum of Scrum is not a big success. At least the recent timeline we found last 10 years, 15 years, it's not a big success. When it goes to 100 plus people or 8 plus teams, maybe 3, 4, 5, up to this it will support. Beyond that, you have to focus on the functionalities and features to be delivered. If you drive such parameter, because they're talking about the release coordination, right? Scrum of Scrum is one way of putting people together. That doesn't mean it is going to be the best for 100 plus people. If a scaled agile or a discipline agile given here, I would have straight away gone there. Because the scaled agile and discipline agile are some frameworks which is going to cover the parameters of 100 plus people and a number of features. But Scrum of Scrum or large scale Scrum, I still don't confident with them. A tricky question, because if a person not read fully about the large scale Scrum or other parameters, it's a little hard to answer. Okay. If I am in the exam hall, the moment I saw 100, I will not go for Scrum of Scrum, because I know it was not successful. It was not successful. If they given a safe here, maybe I would have attempted there. Even I missed the feature driven, I would have gone safe.
Okay, got it. So that could be the intention behind this answer, that Scrum is not suitable for such large team.
Such large, it won't work. It doesn't work. That's what the book says. One more tempting here is release coordination. Release coordination, Scrum of Scrum is again doesn't help. Scrum of Scrum, it shows how to clear the impediments, how to clear the blockers. That it will tell you. But the release coordination, I should know what to release, when to release, means I should know which feature has to go to the market. In Zoom, I'm going to bring HD 4K video. 4K video is a feature. That feature related, if I have 8 teams working together, chances are I may have release coordination. Scrum of Scrum will help me to clear certain parameters, but not on such a large scale. Tougher.
Got it.
Yeah, but these are, I think, purely ACP questions. Don't worry for me. Not for you.
Okay. Thanks. I'll stop sharing.
Okay, right. Thanks for the patience with Poonam and Lata. So, Lata, you want to go first, or we'll complete with the Poonam? What is your thought?
Anything is fine.
Poonam had already a question. I'll complete Poonam and come back, okay? She has one with risk management. Hey, Poonam. Yeah. As Lata said, Lata comes last today.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Okay.
Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, Poonam, please go ahead.
Okay, so I have a concern with this question is very simple, but I'm confused here. So a project is at the planning stage. The project manager realizes that producing a complex multifunctional application is not feasible with the current number of resources and decides to hire more resources for the production of the application. The project manager identifies and contracts temporary resources. Which risk response strategy does this scenario simplify? So I'm confused with 3 options here now. Mitigate, accept, and avoid with all these 3. So I'll share my understanding first here for the question that this project is at planning stage and risk is not yet happened. It is analyzed early. So transfer is straight away gone. So at planning stage, if we identify the risk, so we can avoid that risk. Right. And here by taking the action. So here project manager already has taken the action by adding more resources. So it could have passive active acceptance or avoidance or mitigate, because in mitigate as well we do analyze the threat and we try to reduce the impact. So it is also the I think thought of, but in accept, why I selected, because in passive risk we take the action and we accept that risk, and as it is in planning stage, so I selected the accept option.
Okay. So Poonam, I'll clarify some of the basics now. First thing, first to the statement what you said, we are in the planning stage, so risk has not happened. The thought is right, but let me put a little more clarity there. Whenever you see something called a risk means some future anticipation. You are anticipating next week could be pretty warm weather in Pune or in Bangalore, or heavy rain going to happen somewhere in New York. So an anticipation of something is called a risk, first thing. For this risk, there are some strategies followed in management, which is what you see in that answers A, B, C, D. It is applicable to any risk: mitigate, transfer, accept, avoid. One more is called escalate.
Yeah.
Can I assume that you read through this once in the book already?
Yes.
Okay, very good, nice. So now come to the question here. The question is, planning stage, the manager realized that producing a complex multifunctional application is not feasible. I'm reading the question, the top, with the current number of resources, and decides to hire more resources for the production of the application. So now there is some shortage of people, or maybe resource. When I say resource, it could be material, equipment also. So you want to get something to make it happen. So the anticipation is lack of resource could be a risk, which is a very common risk we see in the system. The project manager identifies and contracts a temporary resources. Now, the moment the person realizes there is a risk going to happen in future, they started the contracting system. Let's say Accenture is a company. Accenture thinks that resource shortage is there. They're talking with Mahindra Group, and they say, let's take another 20 people from Mahindra who can work for Accenture. Just a thought process, okay? Which risk response strategy does this scenario exemplifies? Which means they're asking what kind of strategy they followed. When I say strategy, something going to be for the future action, what to be done. Now your answer is accepting. So the manager has, okay, before I go answer something, did I lost her already?
Sorry, yeah. I lost my energy.
No problem. So Poonam, I got the question. The question to you is, you want to say that the manager has accepted the risk. That's what you want to mean, that accept?
Yes.
What is your thought? Okay. You want to say as a manager, he or she accepted, or in a project, this risk has been accepted. What do you mean by accept here?
So at a project level, manager has accepted this risk, and he created the plan to avoid this risk, or to accommodate this risk by adding the additional resources or new resources.
Okay. Let's keep that answer as correct answer. I'm not going to change anything on that. Now let me ask you this question. You have read the risk management book chapters, right? In this chapters, you would have seen the word of avoid, word of mitigate. Now imagine yourself, you're sitting in Accenture and you got this situation now. How do you, I'm going to explicitly ask you, how are you going to avoid this situation? I'm not going to ask you accept it. I'm going to ask you avoid the situation. What you'll do?
Yeah, I'll do the same thing which is done in this question. Like the manager already has hired more resources to get that work done on in the scope or time.
Okay, that's an avoid. Okay, now I'm going to ask the same question. If you are the manager in Accenture, how you are going to mitigate this problem?
Okay, so mitigate is something which can reduce the impact. So I can analyze the plan where how that work can be done with the same resources, or how to adjust in the whatever things which I have in my hand, like cost, budget, and the resources.
Okay, mitigate means you know that you cannot avoid this scenario. Scenario will be there, but you try to play with what you have, right? Yes. So now mitigate, you understood that in mitigate, I cannot stop the work. Work should happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas in avoid, I can even pass the work. If I put like that, a project planning stage, a project manager realize producing a complex multifunctional application is not feasible. If it is not feasible, I will tell, let us wait for some more time. I may even avoid that risk trigger itself happening. Isn't it? Or I will give to a third party to do the job. I will avoid the whole risk with me. I'll transfer it.
Yeah.
Rather, I'm not transferring. I'm not passing that work now, but I'm going to put my foot in front. I'm going to do the job. When I'm going to do the job, I know I cannot avoid. I know I cannot transfer it. I have to do something. What I'm going to do? I'm going to hire some people from Mahindra Group. By this, I am taking an action here to make certain things happen. That's called mitigation. You mitigate a problem. Now let's go to the word accept. I'll give pass to you. I'll ask somebody in the group here. Do anyone want to say why this answer accept will not fit for this question? Anyone want to say that? Any thoughts?
Maybe accept means you accept as it is. You do not do anything to reduce the risk.
Which means you feel that it will happen. Yeah, no other go. 11 people I will have. Let me continue with 11 people. That's called passive acceptance, isn't it? You know that there is a problem, but you will not do anything. If I ask them, the manager says, hey guys, even I know, man, I need more people. You know what? But the senior manager not willing to give it. So you would tell, let me accept as it is. So somebody says, man, if you do like this, the product will be a so pathetic product. Still, it's okay, yeah, passive acceptance. Now, what is active acceptance? What is active acceptance? Have anyone read it?
Yeah. So for active acceptance, it's like creating or adjusting from the contingency plan or that risk. If that risk occurs, so we should allocate time and accept and take an option.
I heard one more voice. What is that?
Accept and take an action.
Acceptance and take action. Okay, very good. So now for this answer, there is an action has been taken. Can we call it as accept, or there is some mitigation has been done? How do you want to figure out? It's okay, wrong or right? Yeah, let's listen from comments here. Do you want to comment on it?
So the action was taken to reduce the risk, means it comes under mitigation. In active acceptance, it might be that if the risk will occur, then what would be the response? Like that way it will be planned.
One is passive, you don't do anything. One is active. I know it will happen. I'll do something there. But mitigation is you do some action to that intensity going down. Now question back to, is it, who is it talking to? Poonam. Question to Poonam. You see, by recruiting 12 people from Mahindra, do Accenture team reducing the intensity of product development failure has gone down? You see that?
No.
No? Why you feel it's no? You
because
recruited people.
The product, so it will if we recruit the people, then the product risk intensity will not be there.
Not be there, or will be reduced?
It will be reduced. Yeah.
Reduced. So you cannot say not be there, right? It will be there. Since new people, you have to train them, educate them, they have to do the correct work. You cannot say zero risk all the time. It will be there, but intensity goes down. Okay, coming back to your answer for this question. Acceptance, as you understood, I heard from the team here, one is passive, you don't do anything. One is active, if it happens, you will do something. But what we are doing here in the question is, when you anticipate a risk, you are taking some action to go for a contract and bring some people, which means you are writing a strategy to mitigate a problem. If it happens, these are the steps, or for that problem, right away you start some action by signing a contract, which means you are mitigating that problem should not trouble your system. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Agree.
I know it's a little tricky for a person who not really get it in the sense of day-to-day life, but I would say that recommend you one more time, if you can keep this question open, Now read the words mitigate in the book of Rita. Read the word accept, active and passive. If not, also go to Google, just type active acceptance, passive acceptance, read what they do. Now read the question again. I'm sure you will get some sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Good question. I like that. All right. Let's go to the last person, Lata. Finally, to you.
Yeah, Shri, I'll just share my screen one more time.
Yes.
Can you see my screen, Shri?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'll just read out the question one more time. So 36th question. So after an organization trained and implemented a new mandatory project management software application for all the project staff, the project manager noticed that several team members show low level of commitment to a new software. What is the cause for this? So as I said, I thought of selecting the option B, the lack of required skills. But because it is saying organization is trained, so that's why I didn't select this one. So I selected lack of clear project vision. But this is the correct answer, but the explanation is saying that fear of unknown. So it is explained for the fear of unknown answer. So my doubt is like, which is the correct one?
Let's see this part. You trained, implemented a new mandatory project management software application for all project staff. Trained and implemented. The project manager noticed that several team members show a low level of commitment. What is the cause of this problem? Too much communication, lack of clear project vision, lack of required skills, fear of unknown. When I say lack of clear project vision, what project we are doing here? Is it a project or something expected team to learn?
Yeah, they're actually expecting.
Why project vision has to come here? After an organization train and implement a new mandatory project management software. Project management software. Okay, let's say Jira board is brought in, or Trello is brought in, or MS project is brought in. Okay, nice. All project staff, the project manager noticed that several team members do MS project or Jira, how it's connected with the project vision?
I thought the too much communication I ruled out because I don't know, I just ruled out that one. The first two options, as I see this after an organization trained. So I thought like they have already trained and it is there is no fear of unknown because they know how to use the software. And required skills also because in the training they might have got the required skills. So these two also ruled out. So it's I cannot give my like 100% here. Like okay, this is only the option I kind of given in a.
See, this is okay. Let us park this question. Look at our company perspective sometime. I remember when I worked in one of the organization, they moved from Outlook and they brought in Google Suite, G Suite. It took nearly 4 or 5 months to get a commitment from everyone to say that, okay, let's use G Suite. Still a lot of compliance. I like in a justification, they're saying that insecurities, the first line, fear of unknown, no. Manager should investigate the potential insecurities. I think I'll take that one line itself. Many people felt insecure to use a new product, new system coming in. And then the fear of unknown. Yeah, the word trained and implemented looks good. Trained doesn't mean people easily buy it. They always have that unknown factor within them. Fear of failure. People don't want to explore anything new. It takes time. Until they have that buy-in, until they feel great about that, if not, they won't try. Whatever expensive product you buy and give them, they'll be one step forward, backward. But I'm worried why this is connecting with the project vision as a right answer.
So what I thought is, see, some project management software application for they have implemented, right? So it is something related to the one of the project they are doing in the organization or something. So
You feel that?
uh, so if I connect the answer C, so I can take it in that way. So that's why they don't have a clear project vision how this software will be useful for that particular project.
Is it so? See, because project vision is, imagine I'm doing a project, I'll come out of IT. Let's imagine we are doing an infrastructure project. Some infrastructure setup is happening in a company, for which I need a management tool. Okay. When I say a project vision will talk about the infrastructure, what I'm going to do, not about the tool I'm going to use. Tool will fall under something called PMIS. PMIS stands for Project Management Information System, right? So the PMIS is, yeah, I'm fine. Vision you can share, but vision will not motivate somebody to tell, let me use MS Project. Let me use a Jira board. I don't think because of vision, somebody, maybe you can connect it. Hey guys, this is a very big project. We need some efficient tool. That is why we are going for this tool. That you can connect.
Yeah.
But I'm not implementing this tool only for this project, right? Going forward, this is what I'm going to use for any project.
Okay.
So I don't think even I won't be highly motivated if somebody talks project vision, I will choose a tool. I don't think I will be motivated. But fear of unknown is always there, that you cannot avoid. That unknown fear always. For example, in India, if you go 80, 100 years or 50 years back, people were scared to use the LPG gas cylinder stoves. You know that?
Yeah.
The fear of unknown is very high. And then after some time, people started using it. Then the electric stoves came in. Now, fear of unknown is there. So it takes time for people to get that. Even the automatic car comes in, people, the fear of unknown is always there. That you cannot stop that. Even though you train, even though you give explanation, that will be always there. I feel the answer has been wrongly marked. To me, I feel that's a way. Please mark this question, share with support at ShriLearning and Rahul.
Okay.
I would request to change answer. Answer should be A.
Okay, sure.
Good. Finally, Lata, you got it.
Yeah, as I said, the last one again today.
Okay. Any question?
Yeah, no, Shri, that's
no. Okay. Thanks, Lata.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's good. Today we don't have a class, so I'm going a little leisure relaxed. Next week we are starting our PMP classes. Request to people here, if you want to learn more or be in connection, join our classes, which is starting on June 4th, that is Sunday. And if you feel any of your friends can learn out of these classes, I would recommend you to pass the details. I believe you should have in your WhatsApp. If not, request Rahul, he will give you some details. Pass to some people so that more people can be benefited. Yeah, that's intention. Now, any questions more than this towards the examination?
Shri, I took my 4th mock. I connected with you on WhatsApp. I blocked my exam date. Fortunately, I didn't get anything on for the first week of June. I got on the 13th of June. So I've blocked my date for that. My scores I've posted to you. The last mock when I attempted, there were too many formula-based questions or math questions. Where a lot of calculation, and it was not from the EVM. It was mostly on the contracts to see what's the target fee, what is that you'll pay. So I didn't, when I read procurement management, the chapter, I never focused that much into the calculation in procurement management on the contracts and what fee and all that detail. So is that really important?
Not at all. Which exam you said?
The 4th mock I took, my latest mock, the last one that I took.
Okay. So the point is, in main exam, you will have some question on a PERT calculation, but the contracts, they have totally pulled out. You understand from Rita book what kind of calculations they use, there they stop. But don't expect that in exam, no depth calculations.
Okay, fine. Because I just wanted to check if I need to memorize those formulas again.
No. We are tuning the exam papers, and we are removing some of the questions not needed. I believe you may be the last person and slowly removing all the questions about the math. So don't worry about it. How many questions you would have got in exam 4?
I actually got about 3 to 4, and back to back. The minute I saw those questions, that's where I got freaked out, and I found the last exam a little tough, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, 3 to 4. Yeah, it's a little tricky. But again, don't expect that in the main exams. But I would say good to learn. Learning purpose is good, but exam scoring purpose is not good.
Yeah, and just the last question. I've read the PMBOK 6th edition. I do have the 7th with me, the PDF copy. Since I have time, I am basically, I know it is a long time. I would love to give an exam next week, but because of since I got the date on 13th, I'm still exercising my mind, taking a lot of questions and going through.
In fact, you are ready long back. By now, you should have done your exam.
Yeah, but right now I don't have the fear, so I can confidently take it now. But it's just that I just want to know, do you think it's wise me going through? I've not read the 7th edition of PMBOK. I think you
do
bought
that.
this. Yeah.
Read it. See, one thing is exam preparation. We focus on how to answer question. You have crossed that level, you can go for exam. But it's good to read 7th edition of the book, or good to read more agile information, because these all interest and passion will be only up to the exam date.
Yeah.
Once the exam is over, it is something like until that marriage date, a lot of dress will be taken at home. More pictures will be clicked. For the marriage day, we get ready. Once marriage is over, all be packed. No exercise, no dress, nothing, right? It is something like this. It's a prime time. Use it to learn some concepts, even though not for exam.
Yeah.
Learn it. It will be useful in your life. So do that process now.
All right. Okay. That's it. No other questions from my end.
Yeah. Please keep me posted on your scores and progress. Don't give too much of gap. And the last few days, remember to take off from your work.
All right. Sure.
Right? Because if you feel a little gap there, and then again, it will take time to pick up the speed.
Okay. Fine. Yeah.
Good.
So,
did I give you some points to work out last few days?
We're not connected on that. We've not.
I will share some info what you have to do last few days.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good, Sandra. Keep up that. And
Shri, I have one question.
You have a question. Poonam. Yes, Poonam.
Yeah. So how many days before do we need to book for the exam slot?
I would say at least 2-3 weeks before, be prepared. If you're going to take the exam at your home, you can do even a few days before. But if you have a date, at least, for example, if you book it by June 15, 18, you have a solid time to think what to do 3 days before the exam. And primarily, I say that a person has to take 5 full exams, which means each exam will consume 3 days of time. I would say keep it 15 to 18 days time with you when you want to start with the first full exam and you want to go for the main exam.
Actually, I'm trying to take the full exam by 12th June, and I have done with only one mock test, which is below target only. And
how much you got, Poonam, there?
58.
58. Okay, not bad. I would request you to analyze the questions and find the gaps where we lost it. Is it because of my question reading ability or subject knowledge? If you understand that, I would say take another full exam. When you did this first full exam?
On the 5th May, the April batch you asked us to
25th. 25th. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So in the April batch, you asked us to complete it before 6th May, right?
Oh,
so
there you did.
I did it
there
on
you did.
5th
Okay.
May. Yeah.
Very good. It's a long time, right? 5th May is a long time, 20 days back.
Yeah.
Then I would say go for next exam right now, because a long time gap there. You have to go to next exam to see where you stand. And in the meantime, 12th June looks good. However, you have to put effort, because you have another 3 more exams at least you have to go through, full exams.
I have taken the leaves from office from 2nd June, so
very
I can
good.
dedicate full time.
Oh, nice. So 2nd June to 12th June you have off?
Yes.
Amazing. It's a good effort, right? Now you can completely get inside. Yeah, then I'm fine with you. Get in there and keep me posted on what you do, because you look like 10 days, it will run like this.
Yeah.
It'll fly like that. So be prepared for that, and please hit at least minimum 3 full exams before you go to main exam.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but find out where your scores are going away. That you have to check out.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I have submitted the application form today only.
Oh yeah,
So,
I saw that. Okay, good, nice, good wishes. Keep up.
Uh,
Okay,
Shri,
good.
Is it okay if we do not take off before exam and we give it?
Possible, yeah, possible, but stress will be high.
Because the days are in between and it's difficult to take break from work.
Yeah.
So I was thinking a general advice from your side that it is better, but then in case like if it is not possible,
worst case, that's how it is. What to do? That's how you have to go for it. Stress will be high because you are in office till evening. That too, you know what? Only the time when you want to do some exam like this, or you have a long travel plan, the previous day evening, some guys will bug us to sit late and work. You know, you see, that's how it happens. We will think today 3 o'clock we'll wind up and do something. Only that day 2:30, some useless fellow will come and ask you, "Can you do this?"
Maybe one day off would be okay, right? Just one day before. Would be
I want that mind relaxation when you go there. I don't want you to go on a stress. If you can do that, that's fine for you. It's for your health. Exam you will pass.
Okay.
Don't. As I said, that's the only engine you have. Maintain it properly.
Right. And do they give pen and paper, Shri, in the
Yeah,
exam?
they give a plastic sheet and a marker pen, but not many people use it because very less formula. They give it in center. They give it in home exam. You can't use anything.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. So, Lucky Shah, how are you? What's happening? Good to see you in the early morning hours.
I'm okay.
Good. How is your reading going on?
It's good.
Any exam date is in plan?
Exam date is next week.
Okay. So are you in chat with me in the WhatsApp? Are we in touch?
No, but I have to take a few more mock exams to prepare and.
Have you booked your exam date already?
Yeah, next week.
Okay. May I know, have you scored, or you want to share some scores with me in the WhatsApp later?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions you have towards exam?
No, just trying not to have doubt.
Okay. Okay. Don't hesitate to ask questions. And can you share me your full exam scores in WhatsApp with me?
Yeah, I'll send them.
At least to take a look of how we can work out. Okay. And I'll give some more points the last 1 week, what you can focus towards exam. Okay. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Wake up in the early morning for the class. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for everyone for participating. And next week, again, we'll have this Q&A session. Hope this Q&A session is useful for some of you, giving some thought process towards exam.
Yeah.
Okay, nice to know. All right, let's keep up this momentum, keep reading, and we'll connect by Sunday. Have a good time. See you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Shri.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.